In today's video, we're going to go through and do kind of a little recap or a up-to-date on the Shed Mark II and how it has survived in just a few days over having been built for a full year. So we're going to go through, just kind of do a little bit of a check through on it and give you guys kind of an update on how the build is holding up. I did only use $20 of my actual cash to build this said shed. And the reason behind that was I had leftover supplies as far as the lumber is concerned, and I had a few leftover screws. If you were to go out and buy supplies past the pallets, which would be for free, this wouldn't have been that expensive a build any more so than what it was. This priced out for the little latch right over here was like $3 if I were to have not already had it. These actual fence posts, or not fence posts, but fence pickets, you can get pretty cheap for a couple bucks a piece. And let's do a count here real quick. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pickets to make the doors. And these were leftover pieces that I'd gotten for free of flooring that are still holding up well. They aren't amazing for what was on them for a coating, but I never took the coating off because I wanted the rustic kind of barnyard look, because these are barn doors that I made. So just as a quick kind of run through on it, the roof is just tin, and you can see a couple different pieces kind of mismatched. The asphalt felt, which was the $20 I actually spent on it. The hinges I had were from some old doors, and they've lasted just fine. The doors that originally that they went on were quite a few £100, and there was in succession of 4 of them. So this is actually just one door. As you can tell, the door was quite heavy. So those are free. You can find hinges in numerous amounts of places as well. So don't feel that this build is out of reach by any means. If you were to go and scavenge for the pieces, you could probably even get this for under 20 bucks, because a lot of different roofing companies and people that do their own DIYs but they don't like to hold on to the products will sometimes have free rolls of felt. And I actually got one from a yard sale a while back, and that was part of what I used on the original shed just over there. So don't feel that because I had supplies and I had spent money, this is out of reach. This is definitely still definitively something that you yourself can build. So let's take a quick look inside. It is full of stuff. It is a shed, after all. Still has that squeak. I have yet to do the oil trick that was suggested to me in the comments, was to go through and use some oil on the hinges. I might actually do that, because that would be a good idea. I'm not in here that often. So various different things. Some hauling chains, bag of Quickcrete, which is actually a good testament. I purchased this last year because my fence on this side back over here has a break in one of the fence posts. So I had to reinforce it. So it's strong now, but I still want to replace that picket. It's strong on both sides of it, but the main fence post that goes right there is broken. So I'd purchased this concrete and left it in here through the whole winter, multiple rainstorms, and it's still loose powder. So that's one good way to test how well this was, just for having kind of a mild lean-to, just a couple inches, and the rest of the construction. I've had a few spiders try to claim this as their home, which is usual. All reclaimed material for the most part. Well, actually, all of this is reclaimed material except for the felt. And everything seems to be holding up fine. I'm not seeing any lines of water damage. Nothing through the roof. This was a board that was used for a job site that they did mud work on. So this is just some leftover mud for the job site. Besides that, it has gotten some dust and dirt that has blown through from some of the cracks you can see in the top. But I don't have any water damage. The structure is still sound and solid with no real issues. The floor is still good. And it's doing what I designed it to do, which is house miscellaneous things that I may need. A rototiller, I'm not going to use that every single day. Goes into the shed. A Amish push mower for when the lawnmower is not working. I use it when the lawnmower is not working, so it's going to go into a shed until needed. Bikes, these are dirty, sadly, and dusty from being in here, but we try to get these out during the summer times. This summer we actually didn't have time to pull these out and just go for more leisure rides. The actual little archery target back in the corner over here, that we had pulled out and actually did some archery back here, which was awesome. You can see we put quite a few more new holes into it. Rack that I had for my Xterra that was fun, and I used it for a while, but it gave me a lot worse gas mileage, so I decided against having it on there. And a generator. You don't always need a generator, but when you need one, it's nice to have one. So it goes in the shed. Some leaf blowers. I have a gas one, electric one, a gas-powered weed eater. Then I got a chainsaw I got to rebuild in the back there. A project sitting aside. For me, never. But it's in here until further notice. I have my jerry can that was attached to my rack for the top of the Xterra. That's in here. And I have a shop vac, or a yard vac. A lot of times there's a couple brands, Goat. It's basically an outdoor vacuum. That one, I actually need to go through and fix part of the propeller that would suck everything up. It's just basically kind of like a turbo on its side that vortex and pulls everything up into the main bag, and it actually mulches as it does it. So that's another project I need to pull apart. I think there is just a tiny nick or a stuck stone last I saw, because it moves and it stops every now and again. So that's something I need to fix. Leftover felt. I've done some other projects that required the asphalt felt, and this is just what's left over. I still have enough that I could probably do about up to here. So that just goes to show that has done multiple projects and I still have that much left over. Some strainers that we were using for when we were doing some dirt work for leveling stones in the backyard and leveling the porch. So I guess that was kind of a quick run through of what I have put into this, and the fact that it is still upwards and standing. I have a lawnmower that I put in here. I don't know why I haven't yet. It's technically into season for mowing the lawn, which I don't really have a lawn per se. I have a small few patches of grass that I've been using it on until we get some sod put down, but that is a project for next year. Didn't have time this year, just too much other things going on. But yeah, it's been kind of a quick run through of what I house in here. You can kind of stand back here a little bit, give you a little bit more of a foot space for it. So it is a decent size, housed everything it needed to. No signs of water damage or issues at all. And you yourself can build one of these. And if you're smart about it, you take your time, you look for your supplies, you can get everything for free or next to free. And if it ends up costing you just the asphalt felt, this is 20 bucks after tax. Before tax, I think this was $17.80 for the roll I got. And you can get it for $18.80 a lot of the time too, if the other rolls are sold out. But just get the one with more length to it. There's one that you can get that's a lot taller, but unless you use that to just be your height measurement, it's kind of a worthless roll because you get less footage on it. It's wider, but as you can see here, I just let this overlap a generous amount. So if I'd wanted to, I could have cut that and had that whole strip not get used, but I allowed the overlap just so any water could shed down it, and I just wrapped it around. So yeah, kind of a quick little run through of how it's doing, an update on it. Checking on each of the components. You can see the roof up there. And it is still holding up good and strong. I'm more than happy with the result of it. Squeak's almost gone with this door. Bottom sticks just a little bit. But I think that is something I can adjust with this, and it's just because that one hinge is sagging a little bit. So that's more on the maker than it is the product, because that one had been saggy from the get-go and I never quite fixed it. But hopefully this has been a fun little catch-up on it, and the 1 full year of this being in use slash storage. I guess as much use as storage gets. You're going to intermittently use it throughout the year, but even still you want to make sure it holds up and it's not going to leak, it's not going to have a whole bunch of issues, and everything is solid and there's nothing really wrong with any of it past since the day I built it. So hopefully you enjoyed this little update on the Shed Mark II, the $20 shed that still stands, and only goodness knows how much longer it will stand. It'll probably stand the test of time until somebody chooses to remove it. If it's not me, it would be someone else, because I'm perfectly content leaving it here for years and years to come. So hopefully you like that. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you get notifications as we do updates on the channel here through different things as we go through the years of having it, letting you know how many years of service it's had, how good it's holding up for tool reviews, build reviews, and all sorts of just different random things that I'm up to that may spark your interest. So